just a standard battle that we're in. And when I was talking about the cover, I'll just give you an idea. So you're stuck to it. I can't actually move unless I angle away from it. And I mean, it's all right. It's just I seem to have a problem with that. And then if I'm in cover like this and I pop out and shoot, you can do that. But if you pop out, aim in and shoot, okay, I have to actually pop back out. I won't pop back in unless I release, which is sort of another issue. So I mean,
this is awesome gameplay, by the way.
I mean, it's cream of the crop. It really is. I mean, there's really nothing that you can say against it. And there's this sort of the sound and the combination of the action and the effects and everything. And you see how the enemies will move. I talk about the AI quite a bit in the review. They'll move. They're not going to stand out in the middle of nowhere and just die.
Do you think the AI is better than it was in Killzone 2?
I think it's slightly upgraded. I mean, see what he'll do. He'll get a decent shot out of it. You know what I mean? Just sort of as an example. And they'll crouch.
Yeah,
and they'll try and flank. Like he moved over there.
Over to you.
You know? And they have. I gotta say, I'll tell you one thing. They seem to have an abnormal number of grenades. There's just a lot of them. They just do. They haven't done them. And these ammo boxes, I mean, I say I like just because they're a little more realistic, you know what I mean? You gotta go get stuff. And I try and make this weapon last as long as I can so I don't have to pick up a Hellgas one, you know what I mean?
I also like how in the single player as opposed to the multiplayer, in the ammo boxes you just pick up one thing of ammo and you're done and you're ready to go. In the multiplayer, you know, you can be standing there for a while picking up ammo and then just someone comes over and brutal melees you.
Right. And I mean, you've got like your standard details really good. The animation's solid. I mean, I think they've added more animations, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that stuff is really, really top notch. And the movement, I'm telling you, this movement definitely has more weight than Call of Duty, right? It does. But it does not have that weight that Killzone 2 had. You know what I mean? It just doesn't.
I think that they could have added a little more weight than they did.
They probably just didn't need to take as much away. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, people were complaining a lot about the dead spots, and I think they overcompensated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, things are blowing up. That tends to happen. You go through a lot of different environments. Like early on, all we saw was the snow. Remember?
Yep.
The snow and the jetpack and stuff, but you do go through you go through broken places like this. You go through areas where there's more stealth, which I'm going to get to in just a second. You know, and I mean, I think it works well. And I mean, clearly, this is a stealth section.
What was that?
These are the new enemies that rush you. All they do is they just come running with a blade. You got to take them down before they're not very strong. You can take them down, but just don't let them get to you because they'll knife you.
No, look, there's too many.
And when you're overwhelmed like this is your chance to do some stealth. Being in the grass is a help.
Why would he take the body?
Who knows? Hellgas are weird. See, he's going to take him, and I'm going to take him.
I'll take the guy on the left. You'll get the guy on the right. Sarge.
Just a simple press.
Nice work. There's a guy on the ledge. Shoot him in the head.
See? And you have, like, you know, you have your shot.
This is bad. You better warn the captain.
And I mean, you can do that, but it's not as archaic a stealth thing as you would think to be in a first-person shooter. They have some elements, like if you take a guy down with a headshot and he's in view of other people, they'll notice.
Someone's coming. Hide in the grass.
It's still a little weird that you're completely obscured in the grass, but you know, like I said, it's not Metal Gear.
Also, with their crazy helmets, I'd think they'd have thermal imaging in there or something too.
Yeah,
but
there's something like that. We'll just bypass that for the.
Take him.
And that's not the only brutal melee.
No, this is mostly just for the sake of stealth.
Two more up ahead. Stick to the shadows.
And shadow is another.
Come on. Let's move back.
So if you're in the shadows, you'll be alright. These bursters do help. See if you shoot one.
Them around. Remember what I told you about standing too close to a burster?
Yeah.
Nice.
Done.
Follow me. Captain
So,
See, this is pretty much the extent of their commentary.
The trolls are pretty small, but they're definitely looking for
well,
us.
that's good.
Understood.
Is it just me, or am I picking up, like, shininess? Almost like the Unreal Engine kind of shininess.
Yeah, there's some shininess. Like I said, I think there's some filter they put in this that's a little. I can't quite put my finger on it, but things are a little shinier.
Yeah.
And it seems to affect the faces too. It's not good or bad. It's just a change.
I really think it might.
It reminds me
have
a
been.
little bit more of Gears, actually.
They here to see us.
Those things are kind of a pain. I think you have to take one down later.
There was an interview with someone on the staff there, and they had like one of those things, except the size of like a 20-story building.
They're around. They're insane, actually. I think I beat one with grenades. Sometimes it's better just to.
Take this one. You hit him anywhere but the head, he's gonna call for help.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, I know.
The headshots are beautiful.
They have a lot of effect. I think one of the top-notch things. I mean, the reason why this is so good is because this sequence happens after one of the most intense sequences in the whole game. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And it, like I said, pacing and balance. You don't really feel like you're doing too much too often. You know.
Here they come.
See, and if you mess it up, if you don't get them both, they'll come after you. If there's any left at all.
Or if they can find out where you are.
See what I mean?
Cover's blown.
See, and if that happens, usually you're not in a good situation. I gotta tell you. And because you have this weapon and this, you basically only have your one shot.
You
When
could
you zoom in.
You could steal your opponent's SA, whatever.
Yeah, see, these are the guys. Watch, I'll just show you. Watch. See what I mean?
Okay, so yeah, they're not like really powerful.
No, they're not. But if they get to you, they're going to shoot you dead. Or stab you dead, actually. But I mean, that's the other difference. They add a few more enemies that are more than a little different. Here, let's try and get over melee before I die here. Nice, you can't. But that's the good thing. There's a challenge involved. You're not
Right.
just going to run around in circles and just kill everything.
Right.
And the stealth aspects really force you to be stealthy, and you can't really be seen too well. And maybe take you through efforts, or you could just try and gun everybody down. But the whole point is to have a little bit of difference in gameplay. But that's why I like it.
Mix it up a little
that's
bit.
why it's much better. All right. This is the. Basically, you're in the. It's called a saw. You control it just with the left analog, and you fire homing missiles with L1 and the machine gun with R1.
Oh my god, that's really cool.
I thought this comes after escaping the facility, and it's another one of those examples of balance, and it just puts you out in the middle of something you're not expecting. You're doing something new. You can make. I think you can make like you can't hit a wall and die, but you can go off the cliff, certainly. The only slight downside to this, it can be difficult to see where to go, but so long as you're kind of looking down the alleyway where you have to be, you'll be alright, We got avalanches.
Yeah,
This is and this is another thing that wasn't in Killzone 2. I think too many people are overlooking what was not in Killzone 2 that's in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We've already seen
a ton of added things. You got silencers, you got stealth, you got variations in environment, you have a deeper storyline.
I don't know why people are
crazy
just.
vehicles.
I think the reason some people don't like the fact that a lot of the weight is gone, and a lot of people don't think that the story's that great. But I think they're really being nitpicky compared to what we're looking at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And when you look at this kind of gameplay, like just right here, I mean, this is premium quality. I mean, when you add this with all the other things that we've seen throughout.
I mean, this is really quite entertaining. A lot of vehicle stuff I don't tend to like in shooters. A lot of times I don't think we need them at all. With this many things around, a lot of times you feel like you're on the verge of just death.
It's just the level and variation is excellent, and I think they do a great job in making you feel like you're really in a dire situation.
See if you fall, let's watch a shot. See what I mean? It makes you really pay attention at all times. I said that in the review, that you can't really slag off. You can't just sort of I don't need to pay attention too much to this. But you always do. It almost doesn't even matter what the situation is. You always do, whether it's a battle, whether it's stealth, whether it's a vehicle-operated thing.
So is this ISA machine, or is this a Hellgas?
I believe this is a Hellgas machine because you're escaping the Hellgas facility. I'm guessing it is.
Well, no
this is
wonder
after you were disguised as Hellgas.
No wonder they're doing so good in their fight.
You know what I mean? This is after that.
Yeah.
Basically, you're trying to chase down Stahl in this particular section.
Okay.
He's escaping. I mean, there's such a... I mean, and look at the environment as it moves. We have no stuttering. We have no issues with, you know what I mean, detection issues. I mean, it moves exactly as it should. I mean, I don't know how many people mentioned the vehicles in Killzone 3, but I think they're some of the most unique and pretty much most entertaining that have been in a lot of... You're just supposed to go. If you can get through this section, you survive just right to the end. But if you don't, you die.
So is there a health regeneration thing in this? Where you
Yeah, it's basically your standard thing in shooters. Like if you take cover, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll get it back.
Well, is that true with the vehicle?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
There's
vehicles
not
are
much
like that.
taking cover in this, I would assume.
No, it's so long. It's basically just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, keep moving.
And then you're done. But I mean, I think there's just every chapter there's typically something new, and there's longer cutscenes that are actually pretty well done. So that's solid. Yeah, pretty sure it's Hellgas in nature.
Yeah, it looks it.
Captain Argyle, this is Shevchenko. Do you read?
I mean, the game's badass. I mean, you know, I still have a few small reservations, but I mean, how can you say that this is anything less than an elite title?
Yeah,
I know what I'm looking at. You have a lot of games that try and do a lot of these things that these guys do really well. They don't do them half as good. So, I mean, I don't know where the...